Oh yeah. All right. So let this be. Maybe this will be Matt's blog 4, or maybe it'll be a podcast. But so basically, let this be the last time, perhaps, in a recording I talk about gang stalking. Not that I won't write anything down, or certainly I'm going to be taking like security stuff, right? But let this be sort of the last time that I talk about it, maybe in a recording that I'm intending to do, to like put up as like something, right? Security footage may be different, and this will be a good sort of little me laying out the rules thing, or me laying out a good way to do it. So basically, I this was like you know what? I guess it's sort of their biggest. Their grand last stand or something. I hope. Well, it would be nice if it was the last one, right? But I had just about the most insane. Like basically, I went to. Oh, even the fucking ants, man. I went to. Now here's the thing. There is this website called Ocean Vale, and it's like basically it presents itself as like an anime site, but you know what it is in terms of like the anime style. And I was like, you know what, like if I'm gonna be sort of discerning about like maybe in the Alan Watts sense, it's now here's the thing. I think it is probably playing with fire either way, but if I'm gonna be discerning in the Alan Watts sense of like we're maybe religion and maybe stuff like that is sort of telling you to avoid certain things as like more of a control mechanism, then perhaps, I don't know, perhaps it'd be good to like think about like, hey, well, if there's a certain interest in terms of like, having a certain activity be a part of what I'm doing, then maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna honor sort of the sense of inner interest there rather, and I mean just sort of as mainstream as anime is, I guess, but sort of a mainstream thing, not anything like perverted or anything. But if I'm like a very natural and upfront kind of thing, but if I'm gonna honor that, then like okay, I saw this ad, and yeah, what Ocean Vale, ocean like marine spirits veil, like the veil over your eyes. Obviously, it's got some red flags or whatever, but it's like, you know what, like, fine, I'll check it out. And so, in any case, of course, I set myself to check out my bank statement because it's like, oh, yeah, you do that, you do like a month, you buy a month of that, and it's like, okay, well, you better make sure they're not taking any more money. And, of course, yesterday they hadn't, but today I saw a $16 charge for just some audiobooks or something. It's like, all right, and then I checked my email accounts, and it's like, no, I didn't see anything associated with that. So, all right, so I'm thinking, well, okay, let's dispute it. And it's like, hold on a second. Once you dispute something that locks your debit card, then you wait until you get a new one, and unless you're going to go all the way to the bank and literally withdraw money, which you can probably do without a debit card, but you probably have to take your ID and whatever. In any case, unless you're going to go to the physical bank, which is kind of a walk for me, and indeed not a drive, because I don't have car insurance, so I'm not driving right now. It's like, okay, you may want to, essentially, if you're going to dispute a transaction, buy whatever you're going to buy first. So it's like, oh, what are you going to buy? Well, I went out and buy some groceries. Now, here's the thing. I went to Stop and Shop. Oh, yeah, car going super slow. Yep, I'm getting mobbed right fuck now. All right, whatever. Anyway, just all over the place, man. Is this the most popular day in fucking North Kingstown? Anyway, so I go to Stop and Shop. Oh, yeah, in the car. Oh, yeah, on a fucking laptop, right? Whatever. I go to Stop and Shop, and I tell you what, like I wrote a nice little list. It was like however many items, fewer than 10, more than 5. I wrote a nice little list, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, like plan your trip, whatever, get enough food where it's going to be, like you're going to have the food until they send your debit card. Oh yeah, there's a big truck parked here, and the cars are going all the way around it, right? Of course. And so anyway, I walk to Stop and Shop, and I get the food, and like basically every single item, somebody's standing right there. Oh, of course, and somebody's walking right parallel to me, next to the fucking truck. Oh, they're still going as I'm saying this. Oh yeah, oh yeah. In any case, every single item I went for, maybe not literally everyone. I think maybe literally everyone though, and that's like almost 10 things. There was somebody standing like right in front of it, right when I got there, right, and to the point where literally at the end, I was like, you know what? I was thinking over the items and sort of feeling it, and I was like, you know what? Like, is there anything that feels kind of compromised here? Whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, the coffee. Not that it was the wrong kind of coffee to get or whatever, but it was like, all right, you know what? That particular coffee, it seems like I don't know what these people do, but it seems like that one might have been tainted in some way. So let's go back and let's pick out a different coffee of the same, basically of the same kind probably, which I ended up doing. And of course I went back to the coffee right before the end, and I kid you not, there was a woman standing with her cart right in front of the coffee. And it's like, oh man, it's just, as you said, it's a popular day, everyone's out. It's like, well, how about the people standing in front of the chips? How about the woman going very slowly, in front of the bread? It's like I could continue explaining it. If I've explained this stuff this long and you're not fucking like, and you're like, oh, Matt, I still have no, I'm giving you no credence whatsoever on anything you're saying. That's like, all right, fine. But in any case, anyone who's been through this experience, if anyone has, if it's not just me and the whole world around me or against me, then fine, right? Anyone who's been through this experience, it's like, oh yeah, oh of course. And so these people are basically like showing up literally, and I think more than 50%, if not maybe like 100%, there was someone lurking around, like someone sort of going, like putting themselves in front of you, going very slowly, and like sometimes it was kind of funny. In fact, one of the guys got in front of me twice, right? In fact, it might have been more than that. Another aisle I went out of, there was like sort of a central thing set up in like the aisle, it's across from the aisles. Basically, there are the aisles on one side, and then across from the aisles there's like this long refrigerated thing, and there's this sort of center thing set up, and there's literally a guy on one side of it talking to a woman over the center thing on the other side of it, so they're blocking literally both paths, right? That's the kind of shit that I'm talking about here. Oh yeah, wow, we got a car with the fucking door just open. Oh, interesting. Okay. And anyway, so here we go. Just every single fucking thing, every single fucking, like every step of the way, it was like they were mobbing me. And I was trying to be I was looking to be fairly discerning, right? Because it seems like essentially they've got your fucking number. Oh yeah, car parked. There are plenty of parking spots. Car just parked like literally not in a parking spot right over here. Oh man, people are just bad parkers. Oh yeah, everyone, it's always just a series of coincidences, right? It's you follow a series of coincidences to the end of your life, and it's whatever. Anyway, so here we go, a series of coincidences or not. It was like a mobbing situation. It was total mobbing. And here's the thing, before I got there, I was actually having some good kind of luck with like sort of, hey, like just do, like as I said, with what I'm fighting against versus what I got or something like that. It's like, and what I got. It's like, just how about you, I said it right at the end, it's like, how about you do what you're going to do, and then, like sort of do what you're going to do, and then maybe like, did I say don't let them derail you? That sounds kind of like resistance and kind of pushing against the thought of them. Basically, do what you're going to do, and perhaps they're going to try to derail you.
Hello. So this is going to be probably the add-on to the final video where I am mentioning the gang stalking in any substantive way. Not that, I might reference it sort of slightly in sort of reference to something else, like as a reference to what goes on in the society, etc., but as far as referencing gang stalking as kind of like the bulk of the video or just talking about it itself, I think this will be the last basically the last little section of the last one. It should be what? Well, Matt, you know which one it's going to be. Or hopefully you do, right? It's only it's a short segment, but we might add this. Okay, so it's gotten to the point where it's beyond question. See, even when these things happen to you, then you may end up like, here's the thing, right? You may end up going through stages of like, I'm not sure, or like, okay, like a lot of stuff happened to me. I predicted X, Y, Z things, and then and then they happen. At least such as I predicted them messing with my food. I was like, oh, could you, aunt and uncle, or really aunt, could you take me to a different place farther away from the house for my birthday dinner, because I think that people are going to mess with my food around here. And so they took me to a place that was significantly farther away. I think it might have still been in the town limits. If not, it was like technically like the south version of the town, whatever. I think it still had the name of the town in the name, except it might have been south rather than north, whatever. But I still have the evidence. They baked a wad of tape rolled up on itself into the pizza underneath it, and that was the pizza that my aunt ordered, actually. So if they were listening particularly closely, they probably did stuff to the pizza she ordered for me as well. But like if they were listening particularly closely, it's like they had such derision for me that they would do it to her pizza. Wonder what they did to mine. Whatever. I haven't eaten any more of either one. Still, it's like, okay, yeah, oh, wow, oh, you predicted that, and then, like, X, Y, Z things. Oh, for example, when there was, I was doing a backup on the computer, and I predicted, like, oh, I think if I don't, like, take a video recording of this backup, I'm feeling that way about this right now, maybe that'll stop it, right? But if I don't take a video recording of that backup, then, oh, boy, it's probably not going to go through. And then, oh, whoa, what do you know? It didn't go through. And then what do you know? When I recorded doing the backup, after that, it did go through. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And other things where it might not have been a prediction, but for example, I said in an audio thing, like, oh, the people, as I've talked about, the people in this town, or the people in Rhode Island, they're like Peter Griffins, but they're not funny, or maybe they're kind of funny. Maybe they make fart jokes sometimes, but they're not that funny, or whatever. Baby, that's funny. Maybe they're messing with my speech here. Like, apparently Terrence Howard was messed with, or they say even George Bush Jr. was messed with. Not that either of them is necessarily a good guy. Terrence probably closer to being good, or more likely than Bush, of course. But in any case, they're both famous. It's like, okay, Matt, well, if you ever become famous? If I ever become famous, then I hope I'm not compromised. But in any case, these people... somebody wrote fart exclamation point on the curb after I said walking around and recording into a little thing, like, oh, and it wasn't like I was shouting it. I was just sort of saying it, probably quiet enough where you wouldn't hear it unless you were like in one of the nearby houses. And I remember which drive it was on. Matt, just for posterity, maybe you'll cut this out, but maybe not. I remember which drive it was on, though, and maybe I'll forget at some point. It doesn't really matter, right? It seems like everybody, right? But in any case, I was like, oh yeah, they might make fart jokes sometimes. Later that day, I went to Walmart and somebody had written, and I hadn't seen it before, but I went to Walmart and I had seen later that day that somebody had written fart exclamation point on a curb. It's like, well, you hadn't seen it before, or was it not there before? I'm just telling you the facts. I hadn't seen it before, or I hadn't noticed it before, and I don't think I had. And then later that day, they had written fart exclamation point on a curb. Well, Matt, when you put it that way, it sounds like you had seen it before, and then maybe that was part of what you were thinking. Aha, see here, if I had been thinking of it when I recorded the audio, I probably would have been thinking of them having written fart on the curb, or had even mentioned it, because I mention a lot. I go into a lot of extra details, right? But I don't really remember thinking of that when I was saying making fart jokes. I was just sort of throwing that out, like, oh, a generic thing. People make fart jokes, haha, whatever. So that's very bizarre. Not to mention the Walmart shopping cart that appeared right off the Stop and Shop Plaza, between the Stop and Shop Plaza and the Wendy's, down the street from the Walmart. After I went to Walmart 2 or 3 times, and maybe over a span of a few days, rather than going to Stop and Shop, then I went back again on my birthday. Suddenly there's this Walmart cart pushed into a fucking bush over there. Ooh, now this box fell over while I'm talking about this. Oh, wow, isn't that interesting? This box was up here literally literally for days, quite literally for days, and it falls over right when I'm talking about this. Oh, is that not interesting? Oh wow, another strange thing. Anyway, is it a demon? Is it just a coincidence? Like everything else would probably be deemed, or I don't know. I don't even want to put it that way. But nevertheless, recently I've been mentioning cars parked in the grass. In fact, maybe we'll not get into that. But recently I've been mentioning, and on a few recordings even, I've mentioned cars parked in the grass. It's like, oh, why do people park in the lawns around here? And it wasn't like super widespread, but it was enough to be like, it's kind of unsavory. It's kind of bad taste. So then, and I had like even gotten a little footage of like, oh, here's a car parked in the lawn. Oh, there's a car parked like one foot on the grass, one tire on the grass. Oh wow. Oh, and then I got harassed for having gotten that footage. I was specifically trying not to get license plates. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And they were like, oh no, you did nothing wrong. If you didn't go on anyone's property, you did nothing wrong. While they were talking to me as if I did something wrong and trying to get all this information from me. All right, were you born in this town? I think you kind of know that I wasn't, right? Oh, you used my name. You said Matt or Matthew. I wondered, wait a second. That caught me off guard. Did I tell you my name? Did you say my name without me saying it? No, I didn't. Or something like that. It's like, oh boy. Oh wow, Matt, that's gross. Oh, that's so gross. I wonder. Oh, it's like, oh, is it all evidence? Or I think the box falling was kind of interesting, was it not? Oh, maybe you're talking loud enough to vibrate the box. Maybe, could be. All right, and you could chalk some of these things up to coincidence, some of these things to bad timing, some of these things to hygiene or whatever you want to say. But I think some of them seem like it's beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'd put the cars now. I'd say the cars probably pushed the whole thing over the edge. For me, at least, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. I watched a little bit of the O-tier, or not. It's Peter from O-tier, and I think it would be Peter Reborn. That's PR, by the way, and also Reborn as in gonna be reborn, as in gonna be recycled. Well, that's interesting. Maybe it's meaningless, maybe not, whatever. But he's talking to this other guy, and both of them actually I had kind of a bad feeling about. The other guy, just to look at him, that was on the Pair Awareness channel. The other guy, just to look at him, I didn't have a great feeling about him, but he has a small amount of subscribers, okay. And then Peter Reborn, or Peter whatever, if it's the same guy, whatever, he from otir.com, or dot whatever, he didn't strike me. I didn't get a bad feeling about him just to look at him, but like after I heard him speak, rather, especially hearing him say like, oh, yeah, like I've gone, they hit me with all sorts of stuff. Like one time I remember it. He's like, one time they basically like detached my awareness from my body or something. He's like, well, that was an interesting experience. And something about the way he said it, like I think it really struck me at that point. It's like, I don't know. Basically, this guy seems to be talking about this stuff as if it's just like, oh yeah, that's interesting, and it's like, look, maybe he went through it, maybe not, but Peter Reborn, and his site seems to be saying like essentially, as I've written about on Noble Postscripts on Medium, his site seems to be arriving to the conclusion of like, well, if you go through the process of being gang stalked and harassed or something, then you realize that it was for your benefit. And as I've said, you don't want to thank your abusers because that opens you up to become an abuser, and then as long as somebody else is able to bounce back from it, then it's just fine, right? Then you got it just fine. So in any case, I was watching, maybe it was a different interview, but I was watching like more of an O-tier, a Peter from OTIR interview with the Pair Awareness guy. I think maybe it was with a different guy for the other one, but it didn't seem to be the same one because I think, the coming out of your body thing was closer to the beginning for the other one. In any case, he was sort of saying, he was basically seeming to chalk it up to like, you know what, like literally it's not happening. Like literally nothing's happening. And I'm watching this and I'm like, well, wait a second. Because he's on one hand, he's like, all right, yeah, like, nothing, I'm not saying this is a good process. He even said it's like an abusive process, whatever. He's like, I would, it doesn't seem like a nice way to go through this, but like it's a process that you grow from, etc. But then, like, I think he literally at one point in that Pair Awareness interview, and it's like more than an hour long or something. I don't think I watched the whole thing, but he basically says like, he's like, well, yeah, it was all just, essentially it was all just delusion, or it was all synchronicity. Like nobody knew. And it's like, all right, if it's synchronicity, then it's super hardcore synchronicity. But if it is synchronicity, then I would say that sort of means that it becomes invalid what Julianne McKinney talks about with this being a governmental program. And it becomes sort of invalid what Ted Gunderson talks about with this being a governmental program. Both of those people, at least according to what they present and stuff, being, especially Gunderson, being fairly serious government employees before they got out of this stuff or got out of the government or whatever. The SIS guy, it would seem to dispute that because it basically sounds like he's saying, well, nobody knows they're doing it, nobody knows they're gang stalking, it's all just synchronicity. And he got so far as to say, like, he's like, oh, I don't think there's any free will. That might be another red flag. He's like, it feels like we're living out a script because it does seem to be synchronicity. I'm not saying that there's not synchronicity, but I think that might be him doing Peter Reborn PR rather than telling the truth. And of course, the guy he's talking to, the other guy, whom just to look at him, I'm like, I don't really like him. He's like, oh yeah, I had a neighbor, and I was suspecting him, or maybe he said ultimately he had been suspecting him, but then he suspected me, and he even like made threats against me or something, and they're pulling that out. I wonder how much of this is for me specifically when you pull something like that up. But like he even made threats against me when I said that. Just to make me feel bad or something, right? I'm not saying that's necessarily it, but, low subscriber counts, that's interesting. Also, OTIR, fairly low numbers on people who apparently looked at that website, like, oh, this is how many times this report's been accessed. It's like, fewer than 1,000, I think fewer than 500 times for each of these things. It's like, that's not a very big website, especially for him to have an interview like this. In any case, whatever, the guy's like, oh yeah, well he thought from what I was doing, interviews with people I was doing XYZ, he thought that I was on his case, and so he made some threats against me, blah blah blah, and so it's like, well see, we were both, it's like, I'm not necessarily sure that happened, dude, and even if it did, I would say, well, I'm not, oh, you're just gonna believe him, like you're simply just gonna, I'm not saying be super skeptical, but I am saying, okay, so somebody said something and you're just gonna believe them. If street theater goes on, why would that not be street theater? In any case, let's get back to it. So, there are plenty of people, not to mention the SIS guy, who's apparently the former SIS guy, whatever SIS stands for, but it's the Seattle-based company, and they do have a fairly sleek website, as I've said. You can go look at their website. They're based in Seattle or something, apparently, and he's like, oh yeah, they're fucking with the homeless people out there with certain microwave technologies. They're fucking with just regular people. They're doing all sorts of, like, they're moving people to Seattle to be homeless people so they can fuck with them. Then they have them in a pipeline into the company, etc. It's like, okay. It might be, I don't know, it seems like he's saying a lot, and it seems like Gunderson and McKinney are saying a lot. So that's like three people who are saying they were part of either the government, or this specific company, and they all seem, and actually, I think, two of them are dead, I think. I think the SIS guy, he didn't give his name, but I don't suspect that he's dead. But in any case, I think Julianne and Ted Gunderson have since passed away. But these are now three people giving fairly compatible and also fairly detailed reports about stuff that's going on in the realm of what they say is actual gang stalking, what they say is actually using these devices against people, etc. And so, to get back to my evidence, to get back to my point, it would seem to me that it's gone beyond the realm of, okay, we're gonna be wondering about it. It's gone beyond a reasonable doubt. And you know why? Because I've been talking about the cars, and as I walked, I don't know if I noticed it on the way to the supermarket, so maybe it only happened since I was there. Well, the two tires thing, I think, was that way. But in any case, I've been talking about the two tires on the grass, I've been talking about cars straight up parking on the grass, etc. And on the way back, I noticed that not only was there a car on the other street, and I don't think that had been this way before, but it was in front of a house that I'm not sure there had been a car this way, but there was a big truck, rather. They were doing like construction. That's another theme that they seem to be doing visually around here. But this construction pickup truck or something, two cars in the grass. Okay. And then literally, maybe across the street or somewhere. Yeah, I think maybe the house across the street or sort of diagonally across the street. I'm not saying where these are, but I'm saying in relation to each other, another house where I don't think I had seen a car just straight up parked in the grass like this. Today I was walking by and, oh wow, now there's another house and there's another pickup truck just parked straight up in the grass.